somebody on our team to make sure that we're live. Hold on just a second here. Actually, wait, Jonathan, I'll let you get that feedback just because I actually just turned my phone off. Just let me know. Now, this is aside from the interviews that we've done, this is the first time that you've appeared live with us, I think.
I am. I'm actually, having seen what sometimes goes on with you guys unscripted, I'm a little nervous. I am. I've got my notes in front of me. I really feel ready for this, but who knows? You never know. When Wood gets on a camera unedited with a microphone, you get along for the ride. That's it.
We'll try not to swear too much tonight. I'm just joking. I know I made people a little bit nervous, just depending on what I'm going to say. But guys, I wanted to just first of all welcome and congratulate you for being here. This is going to be a little bit of a special hangout and a different hangout. We really wanted to talk about a strategic direction that we're going in 2014. You know, this is the time of the year that everybody's setting New Year's resolutions. Which hopefully aren't resolutions. You're setting New Year's commitments, which is a big difference. You know, a New Year's resolution, as we know, is let's lose weight this year, and you diet for 4 days before forgetting you ever made the commitment by January 5th. So we actually want you guys to be able to resolve to do things, to be able to commit to do things that are going to be transformational. And today, we're also going to talk about some of the direction that we're going and also make some commitments to you about things that we're going to do as a company in 2014. So a lot of you guys, you saw the interview we did with Jonathan. It was released, I believe, over 4 blog posts a few weeks back. Jonathan came down to Costa Rica and spent a week with David Sharp and I, with the executive team and Empower Network, basically doing nothing but talking and brainstorming about both the past and the future. We were talking about 2013, what really happened, what really went on, what was good that went on, what are we doing right, and we also took a look at what are the real problem areas that we have as a company, and what do we need to change, right? And like any company, both great and starting to become great, we have some things that we're doing amazingly well, and some things that we've done incredibly well. We also got some things that we need to adjust as we step into the future, as we make a better plan for all the people who are watching this, because my goal in Empower Network as the co-founder of Empower Network has always really been the same. My goal has not really changed since I've been in this company. I started the company because I wanted to help somebody to be able to build a business and have a life at the same time. I wanted new people to be able to make money faster than they'd ever been able to do it before. I wanted them to be able to do it without having to be gurus. And I wanted people that were real leaders. I want people that really want to build an organization to be able to have a home to where they don't have to slave like dogs all day and night just working and working and working and working and working and working and working to maintain an organization. I wanted people to be able to be free, to be able to travel, to be able to live the lifestyle that we talk about, to be able to build a business from home and travel the world and sink your toes into the hot sand. I wanted to build something that was there to empower the people. And so in doing that, there's some things that we need to do to kind of take our game to the next level. Now, I'm just going to retell this story real quick to introduce you, Jonathan, then I'll bring you out here for a couple of minutes, have you just say hello to everybody.
In all sincerity, like I feel really at a disadvantage here, because like if everyone looks out your window, like there's this beautiful twinkling view of Escazú, and if you look behind me, you see like the nondescript bookshelf, and like I think that's actually my college degree, like slightly behind my head. Like it is the most nondescript home office. Like I want to go find a view like yours, just so that next time I do this, I don't have this view envy thing going on. So
you weren't around, Jonathan. I got to send you links to some of these old live streams we used to do. When we started building this company, I lived in the mountains in a town called Portalone. It was Montana de Portalone, the mountains of Portalone. It's on the Pacific coast in Costa Rica, and I used to do live streams as the sun was setting outside, and you could actually see the ocean in this crevice in between the hills. I know you saw that original sales video that we made when you were out at my house.
The view is outstanding, and that makes me feel even worse about my bookshelf, so thank you. I didn't mean to stop you there.
I wanted to just sink it in. It was good seeing you. But here's the thing that was really unique about you, Jonathan, when we brought you on board. Jonathan understands. Everybody on here, Jonathan understands the running of a corporation, and he also understands network marketing, and he also understands direct marketing, and it's a really, really, really weird, unique combination to find in one person. When we brought Jonathan on board, this is the very first thing that he said. He said, first thing that we've got to do is we got to make sure that our vision is aligned. So let's schedule a meeting down at your house, Dave. We'll bring Dave Sharp down, we'll bring Jerry down, we'll bring Casey down. We want the whole executive team there. And let's brainstorm and say, what is the future direction of this company, and spend time in a room until we figure it out. Well, that was the first thing, and that was just a little bit different for a guy who's a corporate guy to do. He understands that vision is the most important thing in a company. But then what he did, and this was actually, it was really cool to see this, is he came in and he said, now I need to go meet with not everybody, but I'm going to take 10 leaders or whatever it was in Empower, and I'm going to go to their city, eat dinner with them, drink wine with them, get to know them, and find out what they're struggling with, what they want, and the direction that they want to go in their business. So he flew and he met Tony Rush, he flew and he met Tracy Walker, he flew and he met Aaron Rashkin, he flew down and he met Vic Strezhouse in their hometowns, ate dinner with them, had conversations with them to really get to know the core heart of Empower Network and really get to know the people who are really leading, and ask them the question, where do you want to go? See, my goal in 2014 for you guys, just so you know, is my goal is this year I want to I want this company to just grow like crazy. I want your checks to double. I want to grow Empower Network to a company that's doing I think this last year, I don't actually know what our total sales numbers were, but we're averaging $1 million a week or something like that all year. Well, I want in 2014 to get to at least where I want to be paying out $3 million a week in commissions, and really just take all of our game to the next level. Well, to do that, we need to make some changes in our corporate infrastructure. We need to expand some things, contract some other things. And we need to come out with a vision that's going to get everybody lined up. And so without any further ado, that's really what Jonathan's here to do, is to unify what the field wants with what we can do as a company to make sure that we can build something that's not just going to be a business that's here today and gone tomorrow, to make sure that we can build something that's solid for a long period of time that can help all of you get what you want in your business. And Jonathan, one last thing I wanted to say just before I kind of introduce you is the feedback that we got from the leadership at Empower Network about you going and meeting them was amazing. Everybody just, they met with you and they said, it's really rare to meet a guy that understands not just a company and running a company. Normally, people who are running companies that are coming from an employee perspective, they don't really understand reps. It's really rare to meet somebody that understands the heart of a rep. And I know your mom, you've been around direct sales your whole life, so that's a little bit of a unique thing. But over to you. Other than that, I just, why don't you just say hello to everybody? This is your first live.
I'm glad to be here live with everyone. And it's been interesting because I remember when we sat down at first in Los Angeles, the word you used to describe me was a mutant. Like, you basically, when I shared with you, it's like, this is the direct response experience, this is the direct sales experience, this is the corporate experience, and you're just like, wow, you're a mutant, and he used the term lovingly. I will say, if you know Wood, he means all of it lovingly. So it's really been an awesome opportunity to see the convergence of those fields taking place within Empower Network, and the meeting with the leaders was incredible. I really owe that to my wife and to her support, because any wife that the week leading up to Christmas basically says, you know what, honey, you go ahead, you're going to go to 6 cities in 5 days and, just meet with people, you do your thing, I'll have Christmas waiting for you when you get home. So I had the opportunity, thanks to the logistics of the incredible airport system we have in the U.S., I got to kick off my first meeting with Lawrence Tam in Houston and his lovely wife Jessica, heading on over to Atlanta after that, where I got to meet with Tracy Walker, Tony Rush. I then got to head over to Florida, where I got to meet with Justin and Dee Berengia, then up to South Coast to meet with the Mr. Vic Strayhouse. From there, actually, and I forgot also, while I was in Atlanta, I had breakfast with Melissa and Kevin Connect, then Vic and Sioux Falls, over to Denver to meet with Aaron Rashkin, and then actually went back home via Minneapolis, so had lunch with Chris Jones, and then back to Orange County. So it was just a it was a complete mind-blowing, drinking from a fire hose level of feedback from the people that were right now braving an amazing path with us in the marketplace. And it provided an incredible well to draw from of what we as a company can be doing to provide a field experience that is unlike anything you've ever seen in this industry. That when you look at the amount of people that are earning meaningful incomes in as short a period of time as they're achieving it with Empower Network, we have something special. Everyone that's on this live cast knows that. And so my role in coming into this is how do we take that core, how do we take that magic and build a support structure around it so it can affect more and more and more people. That the Mach 3 hair on fire last 2 years that the Daves have run with, how can we take that and continue that momentum forward, and looking at 2014 as truly what I believe one of the biggest years that Empower has ever experienced, because we're going to be doing some things and releasing some things, and we're going to be going into a lot of detail on them in Miami. So if you haven't gotten to Miami yet, you've got to get there. But we're going to be going through a vision and strategy for the year of 2014 that effectively we're going to tell you exactly what's coming. We're going to tell you when it's coming and when you're going to be able to build all of your personal promotional calendars around it. And you're going to see 2014 laid out for you on a silver platter with all of the things that it's going to include. So that's what's coming in Miami, but don't worry, we've got some tastes of that for you tonight, because what I want to delve in with tonight is talking about the strategy that we're going to be leveraging in 2014. I think what all of you would agree with is that we've seen the power of transformative digital products delivered online coupled with the power of a direct sales model, which largely hasn't been done before. Now, there have been some other companies that were direct sales, but they weren't really leveraging the power of direct response and the power of online funnels and the power of culture that Empower has brought to the table, which is why you've seen Empower Network break every record on the record books. So as we move into 2014, you're going to see more of, let's call, our core strategy applied in a bigger and better way. So one of the quotes that I'd like to share with you tonight is there's a famous economics philosopher. His name is Jean-Baptiste Say. And Jean-Baptiste Say describes an entrepreneur as someone that moves resources from an area of lower yield to an area of higher yield. And effectively, that's what we're going to be focusing on in 2014, other than Dave Wood getting really close to the monitor. His face just got like 3 times as big right there. That was pretty intense. But what I mean by that is we're going to be looking at the essence of what drove the first 2 years of meteoric growth, and we're going to be looking at how we can apply that in a more scalable atmosphere in bigger ways. Now, one of the things that I want to share with all of you that are on our live cast tonight, when we shared that we were going to be releasing some big news, we meant it. We actually have a brand new product that we are going to be releasing. And all I'm going to share with you right now is when it's coming and when you're going to be able to find out all of the details. It's going to be coming on January 9th, which is a Thursday. That's a week from today. We are going to be doing what I believe will be the largest live cast we've ever done. And we are going to have all of our leadership participating on this live cast with us. It is going to be one of the most unique product releases you've seen thus far in Empower Network. All I'm going to share with you at this point is it's a product that you've never seen before. It is completely different than everything we have in our product set right now, and it is going to mean massive financial opportunity and massive transformation for those that participate. And that's something that you can look forward to 1 week from today. Literally 7 days from right now, you're going to have access to something that Empower Network has never done before. And it's something that I'm just bursting with excitement. It was hatched while we were in Costa Rica, and Costa Rica was intense. I don't know if you guys know this, but Dave and Dave are really affiliates first. They're field guys, just like you. That's why Empower has been built to be a literal playground for fields and for distributors, affiliates, whatever you call it. And so telling them that I wanted to have a week-long meeting, telling them that I wanted to pull them into a whiteboard session for 7 days was a little bit intense. And, admittedly, it was like, well, all right, let's do it. This product that we're going to be bringing, this experience that we're going to be talking with you about on January 9th, was a direct brainchild of us getting together in Costa Rica, and it's going to mean huge things for Empower, and it's something that we're going to be giving you a preview of prior to Miami. So that's first and foremost from a product perspective. And I'd like to just pause for a minute. Wood, if you have any thoughts on that before I dive into kind of what we're going to be talking about a little bit more deeply in Miami.
In Miami, you said what we're going to be talking about?
Yes, I'm going to. If you want to share with anyone your thoughts on what's coming on January 9th, and just the excitement that you have about it, and then we'll talk a little bit about Miami and the strategy for 2014.
I just want to make sure that I'm answering the right question. Yeah. I mean, the thing that we look back over the last 2 years, and it's really been fascinating watching the way that Empower Network has kind of grown. It's grown more like watching a revolution than it has a normal business. You know what I mean? We didn't just innovate some things. We changed the way commissions are paid out in the affiliate marketing space. We were the first in the entire space to ever do events where we were doing events every handful of months, and the events had 1,000, and then they had 2,500, and then they had 3,500, and then 4,500, and then 5,500, and 6,000 people. And we've really done some unique things that nobody's ever done before. But what we realized is in coming together is we realized that to get to the next level, we're going to need to innovate some things. We're going to need to do some things a little bit different. And we're going to need to kind of stretch the boundaries again and break some more rules. I look at what I want to do, and what I want to do is fundamentally never changed since before I was on the internet. Back in 2000, and I remember actually 2002 when I first got exposed to just real wealth in the direct sales industry. And I'm not talking about like even a level where I'm at today. I'm talking about people that have organizations and teams where their team does over $1 billion a year in sales. I've met people like that in different companies, multiple companies. Now today I'm friends with people that I could have never been connected with years ago. And there's just a difference in that scale of a business to where you can look at somebody and this person has a team where in that team there's $1 billion a year of products being sold. I've met people with private jets. I've met people who had the same time, the same weekend. They had 5 events, and each one of those events had 15,000 people with different speakers, with different leaders who trained a leader, who trained a leader, who had an event with 15,000 people in it, all in the West Coast. You know what I mean? And I look at that, and I look at what we've done, and I believe that we have something special to where I can look at in Empower Network, I can look at the affiliate base, I can look at the commissions we pay, and we can't do anything different in the sense where we can't promise anybody they're going to make any money. But what we can do is I can look at that and I can compare it to anything. And I'm proud of what we've done, because what we've done has fulfilled the vision that started this company, where we wanted people to be able to make more money faster than they could anywhere in the industry. We wanted people to be able to make money like gurus do, and like we wanted people to make like Brennan Burchard kind of money and Frank Kern kind of money without having to really.
I've heard about those guys.
Yeah, I know. We've heard about those guys too, without having to know all the crazy stuff they know. You know what I mean?
And that's really something. Like even hearing you talk about that, Wood, that was like, and one of the things that came up with every leader I met with, every dinner. Which, by the way, if you guys are wondering, I'm literally going to be on like lettuce and laxatives until Miami, because I went through an entire week of nothing but giant dinners. Like every single night, it was appetizers and steaks and desserts and everything else. So it's like it was food overload. But besides that, the one thing that came up with every single leader was, why empower? What was different? What did you see? Because I told everyone in our interview that what changed things for me was when I came to that event in Orlando and I met the people. That was what changed it. And what was amazing is seeing the amount of people that were in Empower for a month, 2 months, 90 days, which in normal network marketing land, 90 days, you're just at that point getting your initial distributor package, you're making your list of 100, you're figuring out what hotel the next meeting is at, you're doing all of the things to get ready to get started, get prepared to get started. And in Empower Network, I'm meeting people in 90 days that are earning the types of incomes that people take years to build in traditional network marketing. And when you see that kind of power, because money is attracted to speed, when you see the type of speed at which people are able to generate success, it really is something that my role is to figure out how to have that be as scalable as possible for as many people as possible, because that's part of the magic. Like I've been sharing with everyone, the more I get to know Dave Wood, the more that I want to know where he buys his tank tops, because I don't clearly have enough of them. But in addition to my curiosity about his shirts, the more I meet him, the more I begin to see the wisdom that came out of experiences of all of the companies that he felt were not providing what the field needs. All of the little areas and nuances and tweaks in how Empower Network does what it does that was directly born out of this desire to right the wrongs of other companies that he was not able to experience the success that he wanted, where all of the reps that he brought in were not able to experience the success that he was experiencing. And so it's been amazing to see that play out in our conversations, and it's one of the reasons why we have people earning faster with us than any other opportunity on the planet, bar none. And of course we can't promise you that money will fall from the sky, champagne will fall from the ceilings, velvet ropes will part. But the reality of it is, if you come to an event and you just ask some questions, you're going to find that there are more people doing better than anywhere else you can find. Sorry, Wood, I just wanted to hijack your time there, because
no, it's fine. You know, Jonathan, one thing I wanted to talk about, because we sat in a room for a few days and we were drilling down on like what's important, what's important, what's important, what's important. You know what I mean? And it was a really interesting conversation actually, because when I get in a room and I get with normal business owners, if you ask that same question, what's important is ultimately just the bottom line of the company, right? Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. It's very rare to meet another reason than that when you're talking about really what's important to you for somebody that runs a business. What's important to them normally is just the bottom line. And I realize as the owner of Empower...
It's like, if you think about it, Wood, our bottom line is the downline. Our bottom line is the downline. If people are experiencing what they want to experience, if they're having the transformation, whether it be psychologically, financially, personally, if we're driving those results, that is our bottom line. That we're fortunate to be in an industry where if the field is healthy and the field is excited, the company's going to be healthy and excited as well. And that's really where we always get back to is, our bottom line is, can someone come in and experience success at a speed at which they're not even sure yet how the success is happening? That we want to give them those results so quickly and so powerfully that they're almost, to use your language, they're almost pleasantly surprised. That's really the goal and the strategy that we try to bring to everything we do.
Yeah, well, I remember we were talking, and it was interesting between me and Dave Sharp. What was important to me was that I want a new person 10 years from now, 8 million levels down in Empower, hundreds of levels down, who was sponsored by somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, to be able to come into Empower and to be able to earn income faster than they can anywhere, to be able to do it more predictably and consistently without knowing what they're doing, and then for people that have been around to be able to build more stable incomes and larger incomes and have more success than they can anywhere in the industry. That was my core desire. David Sharp's core desire that he wants is he wants people to be able to come into the company and to be able to experience personal transformation. And that to me is the message of Empower Network is, what are we really here to do? What we're here to do is we're here to empower you to get results that you can't get anywhere else, that it's impossible to get if you're not here. Not because you can't do it, not because you can't learn how to do it, but because it's impossible to do by yourself what you can do with an army, as long as that army is aimed in a direction that creates more prosperity for everyone. That's the ultimate core desire, the ultimate vision that I've got, and that feeds into everything. It feeds into filling auditoriums and having those split off to multiple events into multiple language. It feeds into finding new ways of people earning more money. It feeds into the products that we have that we're going to be releasing next week, January 9th. It feeds into what we're doing at the event and what we're releasing at the event, which, by the way, I don't want to spoil it. I just want to tell you, just get to the event, because if you don't get to the event, I'm telling you something. If you're in Empower Network, you will just be losing out on a huge opportunity over the next 90 days coming out of the event. You will be missing out if you're not there. And I hate to be the jerk who pulls the "you're going to be missing out" card, but I remember being in a room a few years ago, and there's a guy named Randy, and he said that my core job is to make this thing grow so fast that you feel fear if you don't work.
Oh, wow.
and he says,
that's intense.
Yeah. He says, because I learned a long time ago that number one, a rising tide lifts all ships, and he says number two, people will work much more intensely out of fear of loss than they will out of desire for gain. And he says, and that to me is important, because my core desire in Miami is to do something that creates so much sales and so much income that if you don't go, you're missing it. That you just show up. Because I want you to show up. I want to see you. I want you to come hang out. And so that feeds into the mission, the vision, and what we're doing this year. We've realized what has worked to produce the results that we've produced. We realized what hasn't worked as well. We've realized what the field wants and what they don't want. We've literally been on calls with Jonathan, with Dave Sharp, with the leaders every single day, 5-6 nights a week. I've been on live streams 5-6 nights a week, talking to people in the field, talking to groups, talking to people's teams, talking to leaders. That's what I've been doing. That's what my life has been for the last 2 months, is getting involved and connecting with the heart and the soul of really where people want to take this company. Because I believe something, guys. I believe that, when I got on the internet, I had come from these businesses and these companies that they had held teams together for 40 and 50 and 60 years, and the people in those businesses, they promoted one thing. They didn't have like a million deals they were promoting. They didn't have now I'm not, by the way, I want to preface this, guys. Every time I ever talk about people promoting like a million deals, there's somebody somewhere who thinks I'm talking about them, and they get mad and offended and cry like a baby. Okay? Look, I just want to preface, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, okay? I'm just talking about my experience and my background, and the crybaby or whoever it is, if you're going to cry, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about somebody else, okay? So just preface this. But I had ran into people who they'd essentially built one business and one vision for 40 years straight. And they didn't have to run around 18 hours a day to maintain their organization like they were, chickens with their heads cut off. They didn't have to, they weren't constantly jumping from new deal to new deal every 4 months because they were just excited, about some new hot thing. Because, here's the thing and guys, I'm going to talk about this from a perspective of philosophy, all right, and take it or leave it for what you will, okay? When I got around this industry, I got in because of the dream. That's why I joined. I didn't join because of the products. I give a crap when I joined. I got involved in a company where the products were like 5 times as expensive as everything, and we had spreadsheets showing how they were cheaper. But I mean, they were like 5 times as expensive as everything. And after buying the product.
Dave, you totally just ruined it. Part of 2014 is going to be spreadsheets. That was like.
Yeah. This is why this is cheaper. We need 15 pages of explanation because when you look at the price, it's more, right? But I bought the products, and then after I bought the products, I couldn't afford normal food because the products were so expensive. Even after all the spreadsheets, right? I couldn't eat, so I had to eat the protein bars and vitamins to stay alive. You know what I mean? But you know that because your mom was around direct sales. But it's
absolutely, of course.
I got in for this dream, right? And the dream at the time that was taught to me was the 2 to 5 year plan, right? That's what it was. That was the dream. It was like, rather than the 40-year plan, I'm not saying this is what we're teaching. I'm saying this is what they taught. I was like, rather than the 40-year plan that takes forever and it takes you 40 years to figure out it doesn't work and then you die and you don't have any money, right? It's like they haunt you with this awful thing, and they're like, we got a 2 to 5 year plan, right? Where you show the plan 5 nights a week and do these 8 things and blah, 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 blah. It's like, so we got this faster plan, right? That was like the message. And the dream was 2 to 5 years, you go, you make a residual income, you can live on the beaches of the world, you can live wherever you want in the world, blah, 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 blah. Well, in that company, there's actually people who lived that dream, right? Because they did one thing. Well, then I joined another deal because this one wasn't working, and of course I couldn't I couldn't look in the mirror and say, gosh, David, what you're doing ain't working. I had to look at the company and say, oh, well, it's what they're doing, even though they're still growing, right? And people are still succeeding who are brand new in it. I had to blame the company, so I joined a new thing, right? Well, my new thing, it didn't work the way I wanted either, so then I joined a new thing, right? Well, I looked at myself in 7 or 8 years or something. And I was like, here I've been preaching this dream, the 2 to 5 year plan in hotels 5 nights a week, basically my whole adult life. And what I've been doing for the last 7 years has not been living the dream. It's been talking about the dream and hopping from deal to 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 deal, right? And the reality was I was preaching the dream and living a nightmare, right? It's what everybody does who fucking jumps for the F-bomb there, but who just jumps from thing to thing to thing.
You let the first one go. That was you.
I know. I broke my own promise. But and then I get on the internet, right? And so I get on the internet because of this. I see this. I saw a change in the world where I was trying to figure out why these hotel meetings weren't working the way that they used to work in North America, because it was so difficult to do all of a sudden, right? And I'm not saying hotel meetings don't work, by the way. I'm just saying they were hard to get moving fast, right? And so I get on the internet because it's well, here I can get these huge crowds of people, I can share the dream and all this stuff, and I can get an audience here, and I can build a business, but with these new tools, But I wanted to build a business. Guys, I never jumped from deal to deal. I only changed companies once online when the first company that I was in went out of business. Huh?
It's interesting, Wood. It's funny, one of the things that, and for those of you that know me and, get to know me, which all of you are going to, I love to read. Like reading is one of my favorite things. It's totally nerdy to talk about, but I love reading. And I was reading Warren Buffett's book, I think it was Snowball, which was his semi-autobiography. And it was interesting because everyone always talks about, when you're looking at multiple streams of income, don't put all your eggs in one basket. There's all of these cliches that kind of say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And Warren Buffett, the either wealthiest or third wealthiest, depending on what year you look at, his comment was, no, put all your eggs in one basket and just watch that basket really, really, really close. And it's the first time that I'd really heard it done, counterintuitively, because it's we're now really beginning to see the research come out about multitasking and about trying to do all of these things in tandem, that you're now seeing all these workplace studies come out about the average employee spends 30 to 50% of their day switching between activities, not actually, writing with a pen and not actually using their cell phone, but actually the time spent between a pen and getting to a cell phone. That it literally is becoming something in, studies of trying to look at peak performance and seeing that people are spending giant chunks of time moving from task to task. And so it's really something that I think for us, you know, and we're entrepreneurial as well. You know, Dave and Dave are in the field every single day. And I think that, and I'm using this as an opportunity to drill down to something you're going to see from us in 2014. It is going to be a relentless focus on what we know works for the field. It is going to be a level of, let's call it, elegant simplification of how we bring products to market and how we drive results for you and for your groups. And that was really something that came out of my time with the leaders, that whether it was over steaks with Tracy Walker and Tony Rush, or whether it was my barbecue ribs with Lawrence Tam, or you know, a steak with Vic in South Dakota, which of course in South Dakota I think they only have steak and steak. I don't even know if they have chickens in South Dakota other than steak and steak for breakfast. So over my steak dinners with all of them, that's all they kept saying is, how can we drive results for our team? How can we drive it more quickly? How can we drive it more simplistically? Because we all know we're operating online. We're operating in an environment that needs no complication. That working online is traditionally something that is technologically challenging. So strategically speaking, as you see us moving into 2014, which is going to include a lot of new items, which we're going to drill down on in a minute, you're going to see an elegant simplification of how we're bringing those to market, an elegant simplification of the funnel and sales process, and something that is designed to remove that complexity and increase your check. That's the whole goal of what we're going to be bringing forward. So when Dave was talking about really wanting to move us to a place where you can drive results with as little mental roadblocks as possible, that's a big part of what we're doing, and that's one of the reasons we invested a week of our time in Costa Rica figuring out how can we pull out all of the areas that represent constraints. That when we have someone come to us for the first time, where do they get stuck? Where does the system break for them? Where can we remove everything so that it really becomes a greased slide to the result that they want for their business and for their personal life? So you're going to see a lot more of that, what I'm calling elegant simplification from our strategy moving forward into 2014. Back to you, Mr. Wood.
Well, you know, guys, that's where, you know, that's where the whole philosophy that started this company was, you know, we looked at, okay, what actually creates success? What actually is going to get somebody to make money? What's actually going to get somebody, what's actually made me this money? When I looked at the amount of money that I was making from selling, I don't even, like, I look at it and it's strange, you know what I mean? The amount of money that I was making from selling low-tier, residual-based stuff without ticket stuff. I mean, I never had $500 commissions and $1,000 commissions and $3,000 commissions and whatever else, right? All I had was like this low-tier, like $100 a month stuff to sell. And when I looked at that and I said, how am I really making this money, right? How is this really happening, and what are all the pieces for it to happen? And then we asked the question, what is standing in people's way of really doing this when we're honest? When we're honest and we look at a person who's getting started, what is stopping a person from getting started to be able to produce the result that they want? What is stopping them? What we found when we were honest was that there was so many barriers, it was just retarded. I mean, there was skill barriers, there was technical barriers, there was design barriers, there was more technical barriers, there was, I mean, when we're talking skill barriers, there was skill barriers in every part of the business. How do you get traffic, or how do you meet people? How do you turn the traffic or the people you meet into prospects or leads? How do you turn the leads into new customers? How do you turn the new customers into customers that buy more stuff? I mean, it was resistance upon resistance upon resistance upon resistance. And then you had to have like 1 million products to sell in addition to your normal thing in order to have extra money coming in to make up for the deficiencies in the comp plan of the company. And then there was all this other stuff going on. We looked at it and we were like, let's make it so somebody can get in, not really know what's going on, and just get started and be able to produce a result. And that worked like magic when we took the skills we had and the skills we had as a team and we put it into people's hands. We said, here, just take it from me, right? And what we're looking to do in 2014 is to take that concept and that idea and to do it on a scale that is just wickedly cool. I believe that what we've got here And when I say here, I'm talking about the people on this live stream, right? I'm talking about the people in Empower Network. I'm talking about the people that are showing up in Miami. I'm talking about the people that are in, right? I believe that what we have here on this live cast right now is the foundation for a company that can grow to a size where we have $1 billion a year in commissions being paid out. Now, the exact path to getting there, I'm going to tell you something, not all of it is clear. What we do have clear is what's next, okay, to get us to the next level. And the rest of the path is going to become clear, and a lot of it's going to be released at that event in Miami. What we have here is the foundation for greatness that none of us can imagine. And I believe in that, and I believe in that because I have always believed that teams are important. You know, Jonathan, I know you're a Christian. I grew up in a Mormon family, and I remember reading the Bible when I was a kid, and there's this great thing that Paul says where he's talking about building a church and how the church is made up of different people. You know, he compared it to, like, you know, there's people that are sort of like a hand in the church and a body, and I'm brutalizing it, and there's people that are like the feet and the head, and he's like, you know, the hand can't function without the head. You need the different parts of a church. And in this, I believe that when we're building an organization and a business, the fundamental reason why I believe that it's more powerful to work in unity with a community than it is to go do everything by yourself is I believe that just like me, you can't do everything. You know what I mean? And I hope that you don't think I'm disempowering you there. I hope that what you hear is me empowering you. Because just like me, and just like Jonathan, and just like Tony Rush, and just like Vic Strizhouse. Now, Vic Strizhouse, he might actually be able to do everything, but I don't think so. But I certainly can't do everything. I mean, without David Sharp, I can't do what I do. Without Jonathan, I can't do what I do. Without Jerry and the operations and the tech people and all this stuff, I can't do what I do without the people that are the other parts of the body of our organization. And more importantly, I can't do what I can do without you. So my question and my direction in talking with Jonathan again and again and again is how do we bring out the unique talents and energy and power of all the individual parts of our community? How do we bring out the talents, the energy, the power of everybody, and we make them all part of this central organism, removing resistance in as many places as possible to just taking action, making decisions, and changing your life financially? How do we take the products that we've got and the systems that we've got and the personal development that we've got and create the biggest transformations possible in the shortest period of time? How do we take the incomes that we've got of the leaders that we've got and the processes that we've got to sell things and remove resistance and increase upsells? You know, one of the things that Jonathan did over at Digital Marketer is they would go and they would, and by the way, when I'm talking about that company, guys, there's nothing, you know, we managed to grab their CEO. I love Digital Marketer, and I love those guys, Ryan Dice and all those people, and thank you guys for, you know, for doing what they do. They're great marketers out there online. You know, one of the things they did, he helped optimize sales processes. And so one of the things that we're doing in Empower Network that's going to be really unique is we have the ability, guys, and I want you to think about this from a marketing perspective. This is something that we've never really done because we didn't have the people resources because we grew too fast. We just freaking broke everything. You know, there's a motto that I heard from Facebook one time where they said, how do we do what we do? We move fast and we break things. Right? I actually like to replace that saying and say move fast and break shit. You know what I mean? Because I think the shit just adds like a level of dynamic there that you can't get without it. But how do we really take this game to the next level? And we're looking at what we've got. We've got across of our site, you know, millions and millions of page views happening every day. We've got hundreds and hundreds of new customers coming in through our funnel and our sales processes every single day. We've got more traffic to test things on than anybody in our space. And the level of optimization and simplification that we can create and that we're creating over the next year in our sales process is just going to change the game. We're going to create tests and variants on stuff that other people will be buying information from us on how to implement in their own business because nobody has the ability to test things on the scale that we can test things on. And that's some of the skills and some of the magic that we're taking from Jonathan's background And one of the reasons why we've been taking forever this last bit, we've been talking about how we've been creating new funnels and stuff for the last couple of months. It's one of the reasons why we're taking our time on it, because we want to make sure that this year in 2014, we're aiming you in a direction that's not just bigger, that's not just better, that's more sustainable, that makes you more money, that your effort and your energy and your work and your heart here will mean more than it means anywhere. That's my goal. I want to be able to look somebody in the eye and to honestly look at them and to be able to say, your heart and your energy put here will turn more yield on that investment of heart, energy, time, and money than it will in any business model in the world. And that's the goal. That's what we want to do. And so in aiming in this new direction, there's a couple of things that I want to just encourage you to do who are watching this, and then we're just going to turn it back and forth to discussions. We would do Q&A, and so if you have like major questions or something like that that are good, you're welcome to ask them. But unfortunately, right now we still have the comments on this that are updating because we got so many people on this. They're updating a full 7 minutes behind when we're talking. And so the next live stream or the following one that we do, we're going to have real-time comments where we can do more interaction with you as well on the live cast. But a couple things I want to encourage everybody here to do. Number one, get to the event in Miami. Get to the Freedom event in Miami. Get your tickets now. There's Travis is in the live stream in the comments below. He's posted a discount code that's good till for today. I don't know when that ends. Jonathan probably knows when it ends since he's actually organized. But there's a discount code for event tickets. Log in and buy your tickets now and set yourself up for a magical 2014 by getting down to Miami, by being the parts. I remember when we did the master's course, right, which is a foundation for something great. I was talking to Justin Berengi on the phone because I noticed he wasn't going to the master's course. And he just started to make good money with Empower Network, and I knew how much he was going to be missing out if he didn't get to the event. And I caught him on the phone. I said, hey, Justin, why aren't you registered for the master's course? And he did what most people do. He said, well, I've got family stuff. I'm in Florida. We just moved. I said, Justin, you need to get to the master's. And the reason is because if you don't, you are going to be missing out on an unbelievable, unrecoupable amount of money from what you're missing. And I'm just telling you that, Justin, because of what you're capable of and what we're going to be teaching and also what you're going to have access to. And I'm not going to tell you more. Except for pull out your credit card right now, and I want that master's form in today for you and D. And you know what he did? There's a little awkward pause, right? Not everybody can say things like that, right, Jonathan? There's a little awkward pause. And he said, you mean that? And I said, yep. He said, okay, consider it done. And that's one of the reasons why he's gotten the results that he's got, because he's willing to do things like that. And I am telling you, if you do not go to Miami, you are missing out, and it won't be able to be recouped. And whether that miss out is on what we're launching and the success you can have as an affiliate by promoting it and having access to that information, that's going to be part of it for a lot of you, or whether that's the fact that you're going to be missing your breakthrough. You're going to be missing your breakthrough. There's a guy, I remember in a hotel room back in, this is like 2003, 2004. It was actually not a hotel room. I heard this multiple times, but this time it really sunk in. I was in a home, and it was up in, I think, Glendale, Arizona. And there's a guy teaching named Dave Shores. Dave Shores was a founder's diamond in Amway, right? And he was coming down, doing hotel meetings, and I was at every meeting, right, in these houses. We'd have houses with like 15 and 30, and they grew to like 40 people, and he'd come down, and he was like just talking and telling stories for hours. And I remember him saying something one night when he was talking about getting to the event. They had a major event happening out in Long Beach, California. It was a free enterprise day, for those of you who are familiar. It was like 15,000 people, just redonkulous, right? And there's a guy there, and he says, why don't you go to this? I've been to a couple of the other events. And Dave Shores, he looked at him, and I'll never forget this. He says, because you never know when your breakthrough is going to happen. You just don't know. You don't know who's going to be speaking that's going to create your breakthrough. You don't know what live stream you're going to be on when you're going to create your breakthrough. You don't know what audio you're going to be listening to when you create your breakthrough. You don't know what decision you need to make right before that to create your breakthrough. Right? You don't know. Right? You just don't know. So which one should you miss is the question. Since you don't know where your breakthrough is going to be. And the guy pulled out his credit card and he bought the event tickets. And Travis actually has a discount code below this live stream where you can get your event tickets. And there's a lady at the last event. She was a homeless lady. I can't even remember her name. I'm going to be honest with you. It was Elise or something, or Alyssa or something like that, I think. And this is in Dallas. And I was up on stage and I was talking about dreams and goals and stuff like that, and what your intentions were, and I was having people shout them, right? And we had some real interesting stuff. Well, this lady, I had met her early in the event because she was homeless. She didn't have a place to live. And she had found a way to get to that event, right? She'd found a way to get to that event. And I remember people were shouting stuff out all over the place. There was somebody that shouted out, like, I want a boat. Or there's somebody else that shouted out, I want $5,000 a month, right? There's somebody else that shouted something out. And then this lady, she says, I want surgery for my eyes, right? And I didn't know the story behind this, but sometimes I feel inspired to do something, you know what I mean? Like, I act kind of all the time in this spacey place where, like, it's like I act in inspiration. When I feel inspired, I do something, and when I don't, I tend to either just work or do nothing, right? I'm a weird cat. But anyway, so I'm sitting there on stage, and people are shouting these things out, and people are saying they want a car, they want a house, and then I hear this lady, she says she wants eye surgery, right? And she has these like really thick glasses on. And I said, interesting, right? And then people kept shouting things out, and then later, after people did that, I went back and I said, I went back and I said, can I ask you something? She says, yeah, you said you wanted eye surgery. What, you can't see or something? And she says, no, I can't see. And I said, how much does the eye surgery cost, right? And she says about $9,000. Now, I've been homeless, right? Now, $9,000 to me today is not a lot of money, but when I was homeless, it was a lot, right? I just kind of had this feeling, and I said, talk to my assistant because I'm paying for your surgery. Now, I didn't know what effect that would have, but she just broke down crying. I didn't even know, like why? Well, just today I got a comment from this gal I'd forgotten about it because I just sent money to the doctor and they just did the eye surgery, right? Well, I just got a comment that she's she's just either going to surgery or just finished surgery. Well, this girl, check this out, had been praying since she was 5 years old that one day she'd be able to get this surgery. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. I just felt like I should act. You never know what's going to happen when you do what you need to do to create success, right? When you do what you need to do, right? Like Justin, you know what I mean? He dragged his wife Dee kicking and screaming to that first event in Atlanta. And then they came down to my house, right? Well, you never know when a breakthrough is going to happen. I actually called up Justin. I didn't know how bad he was struggling, guys. I'm pretty much oblivious. I mean, one of the things Jonathan will pick up on me is, like, I know a lot of weird stuff, and I've got a lot of strange philosophies, and aside from those, I'm, like, oblivious to everything. It's like I know this word's
100% correct. That is.
Hey, can you tell him the whole just once more before I tell this Justin story? Can you tell him that hilarious black man story from the first time I met you?
For those of you that didn't catch my interview, when I first met Dave Wood, and this was one of those moments where I literally just was kind of like, wow, that's hilarious, and did that really just happen all at the same time? It's like, we're here in Los Angeles, and for those of you that haven't met Jerry yet, Jerry's our COO. Jerry's an incredible, incredible man, and he's sitting 2 tables away from Dave and I, and waitress walks up, says, hey, would you guys like to have breakfast? Like, well, yeah, let's have breakfast. That sounds great. And so we ate breakfast, and then she says, would you like to bill it to your room? And Dave goes, yeah, no problem, John. I'll get breakfast. And she goes, okay, great. What's your room number? And he goes, Miss, could you just go over and ask that large black man over there? Yes, if you could just go ask him what room I'm staying in, I'll go ahead and I'll bill breakfast to my room. And I'm sitting here watching this, like, I'm just like, you really just sent this waitress over to ask this guy for his room number, and he meant it. Like, it wasn't, it was literally like, I don't even know what hotel I'm in. I don't know how I'm getting back to my room, but, I'm here having breakfast, and it was one of those moments where it was like, literally, like, I was in Dave Wood's movie. Like, I was in this, scene in his movie where we're having breakfast, and he doesn't know what his room is, and we're just living it out. It was priceless. It really, really was.
Yeah. Well, it's my life is kind of like that. Like, I walk around with my head in space all day. But somehow I'm one of these people. What Nicole Cooper told me actually was really interesting. She said, God's given you a supernatural gift of vision, Dave. And I said, okay, thanks, Nicole. I don't know if that's true, but I just know that weird stuff. My life is like this weird South Park episode with all this magical stuff happening all the time. It really is actually hilarious to be around.
I think what's been really, really interesting, and one of the things that we're talking about right now is really how success works and the role that your breakthrough will play in achieving the success that you want. And I just got a message for those of you that are watching. If you can't see the chat box, or if you're watching on YouTube, the event tickets code is Release 2014. That's Release 2014. So just want to make sure if you don't see the chat box for whatever reason, you have that, because that discount code will be good until midnight tonight. But one of the things that's been very interesting about meeting with our leadership, about talking with Dave Wood and Dave Sharp about their journey, what's unique about success is one of the few things in life that you really don't know what you're going to have to pay for it until after you've already paid. That you don't ever have the ability of being able to sit down and say, my breakthrough is going to happen this weekend, or my breakthrough is going to happen 3 months from now, or my breakthrough is going to happen 1 year from now, 2 years from now. The unique thing about success and living a life of powerful impact, both personally and professionally, is one that you can't even have the opportunity to pay the price until the commitment takes place. That until you decide, I'm going to be successful, you won't even have the opportunity to pay the ticket to get in. And it may take you a month, it may take you a year, it may take you 5 years. There are people that have had a breakthrough on their 7th year in this industry and gone on to become multi-million-dollar earners. Our job at Empower Network is to take those people that make that commitment, that say they want success, and our job is to shorten the path to as short as absolutely necessary to give you that breakthrough. And part of the things that we're going to be doing in 2014 to allow that to happen much more quickly for much more of our distributor force, even though we've already achieved a larger distributor to meaningful income ratio than any other company in history. That's not good enough for us, because we want more success for more of our distributors. So what you're going to really be seeing in 2014 is going to be all about you. It's going to be all about our distributors. It's going to be all about investing every ounce of time, energy, resources, and capital, both financial and intellectual, into tools and equipping you to achieve the results that you want with Empower Network. But Empower Network over the last 2 years has been on a very interesting journey. And what I love most about the Daves, and I'm sure it's something that you guys really appreciate as well, they're willing and not afraid to take risks. They're not afraid to look at something and say, you know what, this is working good enough, but good enough is not good enough for us. So we're going to take some risks here, and we're going to move the ball down the field. They've always been willing to do that. And those investments of time and energy have been things that have been extremely educational, and a lot of them have been very successful. The one theme that we have for 2014 is the investment that's going to take place is specifically geared towards field growth. It's towards making your job easier and faster in achieving the results that you want for your business. Now, that strategy in 2014 is going to be rolled out in multiple different ways. It's going to be rolled out in new tools, which are going to make it easier for you to introduce others to the opportunity, as well as new tools for you to improve and sharpen your saw, as Stephen Covey talks about, being able to give you an ability to continue to grow and continue to learn, So it's going to be a focus on not only improving your ability to share it, but also your ability to learn it yourself. You're also going to see a massive commitment to bringing new products to market, one of which we're going to be releasing on January 9th with all of our leadership, a product that has never before been seen in Empower Network. I can't tell you how excited I am about that one. And that's going to be a preview of what you're going to see being released in 2014, that all of the development that's going into these new products is with one goal in mind. That is to give you results and to give results for your team faster than you've ever experienced it before. If you think the last 2 years have been unique and interesting to watch, wait until you see what we're bringing to market in 2014, because you haven't seen anything yet. In addition to that, we're also going to be investing heavily in the marketing resources and tools from a technology perspective that you have to leverage the power of the internet and the power of a global audience to grow your teams. You're going to be seeing us bring to you tools and technology to make growing your group, communicating with your group, and building a team faster than it's ever been. These are industry-leading tools that you're not going to see anywhere, and we're going to be investing in them heavily so that you have everything on the cutting edge, literally bleeding edge of technology available for direct sales, so that the experience you have as a distributor with Empower Network is unequaled anywhere else. Anywhere else. You may be able to look at any of the other opportunities that have come out and duplicated Empower Network's massive commission payouts. That's something that you were the first to do, and you're now seeing a lot of other people do it. The one commitment that I will make to you as the CEO of Empower Network, the Chief Empowerment Officer, my job is to make sure that you will not find a better home, you will not find a more supportive environment, and you will not find better tools to equip anyone that chooses to throw in with us and lock arms with us. You will not find a company more committed to their success, period. Now, that being said, we're not perfect. We haven't been perfect up until this time, and what Dave talked about with Facebook, that they move fast and break stuff. This is a journey that we're all going to be on together. But the one thing that you can take to the bank is that you will not find a company that has more of a focus and more of a dedication, both in time, effort, and financial investment, to what the field needs and to the tools that the field wants to be able to drive those results. So our strategy really in 2014 can be boiled down to something that is literally as simple as 2014 is going to be all about you and your team and your growth and shortening the time necessary to get you to that breakthrough so you have the opportunity to build the life you want at whatever income level you desire with Empower Network.
You know, the last thing that I've got just as a thought, guys, we wanted to introduce you to our CEO in kind of a live environment, have some chat. I mean, you know, and you know, the thing I love about you, Jonathan, is you just get us, man. And you know, that was like the, and I said this in the interview too. If those of you haven't seen it, you know, Dave Sharp had met with you, and he was talking about bringing you on, and I was like, yeah, but, you know, I didn't know really, you know. We were looking really, Dave Sharp and I were looking really at a time to fill like a marketing role. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And then I met this guy, and you know, he had the mutant story and all those other things, and within 5 minutes I knew he was the guy. You know, I just knew. And it's really been a pleasure working with you and seeing how you interact with people, man. The thing that I like best about you is that you get the reps. Because to me, this to me is like Empower Network to me is like I mean, you've looked at our financials, Jonathan. You know Dave and I haven't taken big company payouts where we could have.
You guys, and you know, that was one of the things that, like, as more of a let's call it executive view of things. I mean, you guys have built this company from day one as if you guys sat down and, you know, you go to the adult kids in a candy store, and the candy store is all of the things that a distributor would want in a company. And it was not like, you know, oh, well, if you go over and get some gummy bears from this section, you can't have any ice cream over here because you already got your gummy bears. And, you know, and if you get ice cream from over here, you can't get the gummy bears, and you're not going to get the chocolate from the back. You guys literally went in as distributors first. You went in as field leaders first, and you just said, no, I want it all. I want an ice cream sundae. I'm going to top it with gummy bears, and then I want you to cover it in chocolate. And you built a company that largely exists purely to serve as an opportunity vehicle for the field. That when you look at, and for those of you that haven't looked at, I wouldn't recommend that you spend a lot of time because it's really boring and involves a lot of numbers. But if you go out there and you look at the way that traditionally direct sales companies build a compensation plan, or the way that direct sales companies build tools, or the way that direct sales companies build anything, you'll see that the company not only has very expensive products, but that the company is not paying out all of the money from the sale of those products to the field. And with our company, the Daves literally have built this thing for you. They built it as an extension of, if I was a distributor, if I was a field leader, how can I have my cake and eat it too and make sure it's a delicious and beautiful and giant cake at that? So it's really something from a financial perspective. We are built to provide the biggest opportunity, the biggest checks, and the biggest tool set. I mean, it literally is all built for the field. It truly is. So I will absolutely echo what Dave said. From a financial perspective, the field is who we're investing in, and we don't intend on ever changing that because that's our mission. That's who we are. And it's interesting that, you know, both Dave Wood and Dave Sharp have talked about the fact that I get you guys from a field perspective, and I get it at an emotional level that, you know, I don't know a lot of other people that have the executive side that also understand the field side to the depth that I do, because, and you guys will all see this when you get to know me, you know, when you start out at, I don't remember, I was 6 years old or 8 years old or whatever in Chicago, and I'm applying mailing labels to my mom's beauty control cosmetics products where she was building her group with them. And I was the first computer literate, that's the word, computer literate child in my family, and I'm typing up my mom's, you know, downline newsletter, which back then was on paper and was mailed out on the only computer we had that ran Microsoft Publisher. You very quickly begin to see the stories and meet the people that, whether it's someone that was a single mom that was trying to find a way to make an extra $200 on weekends because that's what would allow a car payment for a decent car, all the way up to someone that said, you know, and this is again going to beauty control cosmetic stories, all the way over to someone that would say, you know, I just had a child and I don't want to go back to work, so I want something where I can be at home and earn a second income. I lived that because I was the child that my mom had that she didn't want to go back to work. She wanted a vehicle that would allow her to stay home. And if I told you the amount of hours and the closets full of product and the amount of meetings that my mom put on to earn what in Empower Network probably wouldn't even be a sum that anyone would look twice at, the work was tremendous, but the fulfillment of being able to stay home meant everything. And it was something that, you know, I was probably the only 13-year-old kid that, you know, his birthday included a copy of Think and Grow Rich, which is a book that the network marketing and direct sales world loves because it really begins to teach you that thoughts are things and that you can begin to bring about and create in your life what you want to see if you understand how to interact with those laws that kind of govern the process of success. So growing up in a home where I was part of my mom's business and then transitioning into going to college and beginning to be introduced to companies and having a lot of family friends that I built over my mom's distributor career, and then meeting a whole new crop of friends as my mom spent over 20 years on the corporate side in field development. So getting to meet the company executives and the master distributors and the people that were driving organizational leadership, it was really something that continued to cement in me an understanding that we exist to serve the field, that without a healthy field there is no company, because the company really is a field service vehicle. And that first and foremost means that our field has to be able to get the results that they want, and they need to be able to get them consistently. That whether you want to earn an extra couple of bucks to be able to put gas in your car, and you love what you do for a living now, and that's where you want your focus to be, we need to be able to provide a vehicle for that. And that if you want to be $1 million ring earner, if you want to, follow in Lawrence's footsteps and get your $1 million earner ring, and all of the other, Justin Ferengia and Vic Strayhouse and all of the $1 million ring earners that we have. If you want a vehicle that will take you on a journey of unfathomable wealth, of the type of money that you don't see anyone making unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or a company owner or someone that spent a long time in school, we have to provide a vehicle for that. We literally, as a company, have to be able to have a method and a means to give that person that wants to earn a little bit of extra money, or that person that wants to build a full-time family existence. And we have to be able to give it to both of them. But the crazy thing about it is, and where Dave and Dave are sometimes just the Steve Jobs-esque, totally unreasonable, I know it's hard, but that's the way it has to be, we need to be able to give the ability to earn a little bit of extra money and the ability to earn a lot of extra money with the same level of ease and predictability. That is really, when you look at what defines a successful network marketing enterprise at its core, if we have the ability to give, no matter what your goal is, no matter what your income goal is, no matter what your lifestyle goal is, your personal goal, if we have the ability to provide that predictably, no matter what your goal is, that is what success looks like for us. And that is really what 2014 is going to be all about, is taking the core, taking the magic, taking 2 years of looking at what has worked incredibly well and what has driven record-setting results, and distilling it down to the finest pieces, to the smallest necessary moving parts, the little hinges that swing incredibly big doors. Taking that learning and taking that intelligence and applying it in a scalable atmosphere that literally just sets you on a path that no matter what your goals are, you have a path to achieve them, and you have a path to achieve them predictably. And that's why we're talking about things like tools. We're talking about things like leveraging the technology that's available. We're talking about things like new products and bringing things to market that are bleeding edge, that are literally industry-defining, category-creating products. And it's something that, from a field perspective, I lived it. I watched my mom build a group with a company, and my mom be the #1 recruiter, which isn't even a word really used that often anymore, but my mom was the #1 recruiter in beauty control cosmetics, and they gave her a fur coat, but the income wasn't enough that it would really continue to allow her to achieve the results that she wanted. So, I watched my mom live the life of a company that didn't have a long enough runway, that it gave the ability to earn some extra money, but it didn't give the ability to transition that extra money into a life, into a full-time income. So I understand the need to have a runway that's that long. I also understand the need to have a point of entry that's that low, that no matter where you are, you have the ability to drive results. You have the ability to get started. I understand that from a field perspective. I also understand from a field perspective the trepidation that sometimes happens when you see a company like Empower Network come on the scene and literally shatter every record, shatter every long-held industry rule and belief of how quickly someone should be able to earn money or how quickly they should be able to get results, and then watch all of these other companies follow in their footsteps, playing the same song, and seeing that distraction and that discord happen in a marketplace, not because Empower Network is in any way faltering, but because Empower Network blazed a path that had never been blazed before, and now you're just seeing other companies come in and play the Me Too card and create that level of distraction. So I understand that from a field perspective, our job is to help you understand that in 2014, we have never been more sure. We have never been more resolute, and we have never ever been more strategic in how we are going to make sure our field drives results that no matter what other company crops up and no matter what industry norm we violate, all they can do is look at our results and say, holy shit, how did they do that? That's what 2014 looks like for us. And I want to tell you that there are moments where you're going to be distracted. There are moments where you're going to be discouraged. There are moments where you're going to see the newest shiny object that is vying for your attention. Whether that shiny object is an opportunity, whether that shiny object is the perceived safety of a job, whether that shiny object is the challenges that you experience in your personal life, I've got great news for you. Everyone that has already achieved the results that you're looking for has already experienced the challenge that you're going to go through, and they found a way to overcome it, and I know that you're going to as well. My job is to equip you with the tools necessary to make that path as fast and easy as possible. So I really want to say that, and you can tell I get really passionate talking about the field because I've lived it. I know that quiet desperation, and Dave Sharp talks about this, where I think his example just is so poignant. What other industry on the planet can you see a doctor making $300,000 a year, sweaty palms and intimidated to go prospect a guy behind a cash register at a 7-Eleven who's making $7 an hour to talk to him about some vitamins to get a residual check for $4.32 in the mail that month? It's a weird industry. It's a weird industry, and it kind of has to be, because it really is one of the last ways that you can have an entrepreneurial path, even if you don't necessarily know all of the aspects of business. That, and especially true outside of the United States. I mean, when you look at the barriers to staking your own claim and grabbing a future that you want to create, I mean, there are countries out there that you can't even incorporate for a year to 2 years. That network marketing and direct sales and the opportunity that Empower Network has, in a lot of ways, unfortunately, is taken for granted in the United States, and it's not given the level of respect and the level of admiration that I believe it should, because we have gotten so spoiled. We've gotten so spoiled with how easy it is to just start any business. And it's something that the entrepreneurial spirit is what is going to drive your growth. The entrepreneurial spirit is what formed Empower Network as the greatest extension of a field leader's dream to ever hit the industry. And that's something I would go on record as saying. I interact regularly with industry icons and other executives that are leading network marketing companies, and their question is the same every time. How in the world are you guys growing so quickly? How in the world are you guys able to pay out to the field what you do? Because it's something that to them, it just doesn't make sense. That to them, the numbers don't work. To them, it's a bottom line discussion. It's not a downline discussion. And they're very, very different discussions. So I think that I'm probably getting off on a little bit of a tangent here because Wood went and got me all worked up, talking about the field, because it's something that excites me. But I think what I want you to hear more than anything, to summarize this rant that I've been on now, it's time to tell you that 2014 is all about you. 2014 is all about making the results that you want to drive faster and easier through the best tools and the best training and category creating products, all of which you're going to see released with a hell of a lot of fanfare and fun in Miami in January. So I'm hoping I get to meet you all personally there, and I'm just going to pause here for a minute, and I'm actually, it's funny, if you guys have ever done a hangout before, like I'm sitting here talking to this very tiny webcam on top of my monitor, and my room is dead silent. My wife took the dog out, and so the dog's not running in here or whatever, and she the dog actually has this elf Christmas sweater with all these bells on it, so like I can hear the dog running all over the house, because if you saw my interview, my dog wears sweaters. But I digress. That being said, whenever I'm talking, I'm literally looking at like just Wood's face. So I mean, I'm just going to pause and just throw it back to you, man.
Well, the dog story is funny. I don't think you've ever seen it, but there's a sales presentation up. We had it up for like 4 months. It was a really good one. Where I'm doing the presentation, and then when I'm doing the presentation, my dog just like started yapping around the house, and then I was like, "Do you hear that? My dog is barking. My dog's talking to you. It's commanding you to join. My dog is literally barking right now, telling you to join in dog language. Just barking right now." It was super funny, man. I gotta shoot that one to you. It's just a you. But guys,
it's totally one of those things, though, man. That like when you look at the field, like when you look at the level of respect that I have for the people that are willing to go out and they're willing to go against the grain and they're willing to have discussions that nobody else is willing to have. That, you know, there's a guy that I think is utterly brilliant. He's a friend of mine. His name is Rich Sheffrin, and he's an incredible online marketer, a brilliant thought leader, and he talks about the perception of security versus the reality of uncertainty. And that what we have at Empower, what is so exciting and what is so motivating, is we have a community that is very quickly becoming an army of individuals that recognize that we stand at the precipice of a changing dynamic in the way the world views work. That we are at an intersection where it's no longer good enough to clock in 20 to 40 years at a job you hate in hopes of having enough health to do what you love at an age where you can't do any of it anymore. That paradigm is going away. And when you have someone that's willing to go out and say, you know what, I want to do something different. I want to stake my claim. I want to create the life that I want. I have such a tremendous level of gratitude for those people that are willing to be a part of that shift. That's really where my motivation and my drive to serve them comes from, because this is not something that is for the faint of heart. This isn't for people that are weak or are scared or are sad about being a part of an entrepreneurial adventure. This is for those people that are willing to say, I don't want the perception of security. I don't want to sit here and, you know, tell myself before I go to bed every night that the company I work for will never change or will never downsize me or right-size me. That I want to embrace the reality of uncertainty, and I want to embrace the adventure with every fiber of my being, and that I'm willing to go after it. All I need are the tools and the training to allow me to make that happen. And we're here to bridge that gap. We're here to have that reality of uncertainty, that moment where they make that decision, that they are met wherever they are with whatever competencies they have at that time, and we want to equip them to be able to translate those competencies and to grow what they're capable of so that their income matches their outcome. And that's really what I want to see happen, that if your outcome is, I just want to make my car payment every month, great. If your outcome is, I want to out-earn Vic Strayhouse, awesome. And you know, Vic would love the competition. He's ready for it. So I guess it's just something that, from a field perspective, I really want to honor the commitment that those of you that are watching this live cast, that you're going out there and you're having conversations, that there are lots of people that don't have, you know, pardon the language, they don't have the balls to do it. They don't have the balls to actually go out and talk to someone about creating a business and adding value and growing a team and understanding what it means to lead and what it means to create, what it means to collaborate and be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. So, I mean, that's who I'm here for. That's why I'm here. That's why we do what we do. That's why Dave and Dave didn't just you know, take what they know about marketing and how capable they are at copywriting and just hang out, you know, one in Costa Rica, the other in South Florida, and just basically put out sales letters for themselves. They basically said, you know, the money we earn and the opportunities we create will not be nearly as sweet if we don't have anyone to bring with us on the journey. And that's why you're seeing Empower continue to dedicate and rededicate itself to growing the field and equipping the field in a way that you're just not going to find anywhere. And I know it because I'm the one that's responsible to do it.
Well, Jonathan, I think that's a good note to leave it on. You know, I wanted to kind of bring you out and introduce you to everybody and say hello to everybody as well. It's been kind of my mission for the last couple of months to just kind of be in front of people and all the time and be involved with them because I know that there's a bunch of stuff that we're doing this next year to take the game to the new level, and the only way to really know what to do is to be connected with what people want, what they're struggling with, where they want to go, because my dream has always been, and it's always going to be, to help you get what you want. And I don't know why you're here. That's the thing, is I don't know why you're on this webinar. I don't know what specifically you want. I know what some of you want because I know you personally, but the vast majority of you, you're here for your own reason. You're here with your own dreams and goals. And I'm here to help you make that happen. That's why Jonathan's here. That's what we're doing in Miami. So if you haven't done it yet, click the link for the members discount. I can't, Freedom 20, what was it? Freedom 2014 is the code? I can't remember.
Release 2014.
Release 2014 is the code. Release 2014 is the code. Log in, buy your event tickets for you and your spouse. Get there to Miami, and we're going to be laying out the game plan. January 9th, we have a webinar with the core leadership here at Empower Network, and we are going to be releasing a product. Make sure, let's blow that out, guys. Let's make that biggest ever. I'm going to start putting some promotional stuff together. We're going to have a whole army on it here for the next few days, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what we're doing in Miami, and I'm excited to push you a little bit to get there because I know how valuable it will be for you to go. I'm more than ever though. I am pumped up about the future. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited. Looking back over the last 2 years has just been a dream come true. Working with you because this is the first thing that I've been in where I could just my family's gotten involved. My brothers and sisters, a lot of them are involved, and I'm proud of it. I can look somebody in the eye and I know that this is the best thing that there is. Not always because what we do is perfect, but because I know the heart of why we're here and why I'm here is for you. And so, with that being said, click the button if you're a member on the left. Release 2014 is the code. Buy your event tickets now. Get to Miami. If you're not in, get in. Why should you get in? You should get in for the webinar that we just gave. When would you ever hear that message from anyone? It started off by us owning the company and coming out with a message where we said, we're here for you. We're here for the field. And that's always been true. Even when we've made mistakes, it's been true. When we've done the right things, it's been true. We've always had the heart. Right? And you really want to know what really encompasses Empower Network, what makes it impossible to knock off, what makes it so people start things and they say, we're going to, me too. Guys, it's the heart. Because this company is here to serve you. And I'm telling you something, you guys are going to be pumped up, you guys are going to be excited because this is going to be the best year of our lives. If we work together, if you're with us. And, a long time ago, I heard a guy who, this guy had a private jet. He just was a gangster. I remember him being on stage, and I was sitting there. It was like 2 in the morning. He was still talking. And I was like, man, this guy knows a lot of stuff. I want to know what he knows. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, if you are not on the beaches of the world with me, it is not because I'm not with you and I'm not for you. He says it's because you are not with me. And I'll leave you with that because we will be here. And we'll be bigger. We'll grow faster. We'll expand into different languages. We'll launch the best products. The question is are you in? That's something for you to decide. There will be people who leave and come back later. There will be people who will sit around for a while and then decide. But there's somebody on here who tonight, you met Jonathan, you heard us, and you said, it's my time. And I want to congratulate you for making a new decision tonight. That being said, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to end the broadcast now. I want to just congratulate you for being a part of Empower because you are why I'm here. Welcome to the family, folks.